holding on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome once again to Sim Racing Media. Tonight, we have the drivers of the Charity Cup Series getting down at Kansas. I'm Mike Damone, going to be running the ones and twos. Joined with me is going to be Curtis Mitchell and Jordan Brockell. How's it going, guys?
It's going wonderful as we come back for the third installment of the Charity Cup Series here from Kansas. And, Kansas is near and dear to my heart as it's the first time I got a win on an oval on the iRacing circuit almost 10 years ago. So certainly looking forward to being back at Kansas here, calling the shots up here in the booth.
Absolutely. This is a super fun opportunity. Third race of the Charity Cup Series. I'm excited for this Kansas race. We got a fun track ahead. Highest driver count we've had all year. If you thought Charlotte and Texas was a fun show, you're in for a treat for this one.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite things about this track is the ability to run multiple grooves. And with the track being cooler, pre-broadcast, it was sitting just under 80-degree track temp, around 78 degrees. So it's going to be gripped up. These guys are going to be able to run wherever and however they please. And Kansas is known for being a, kind of a momentum track. So you want to try to run the high side if you're not really doing so hot down on the bottom. But, that wall can certainly be your friend and be your enemy in just one single lap. So, I mean, it's going to see some scraping, maybe a little bit of a Darlington-esque stripe there on that right side quarter panel. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys try to mix and match throughout this field and different lines and see what they can do.
Absolutely. We ran a practice race here back last week Sunday, and then last night as well, and we saw some good lap times, saw some good qualifying, but at the end of the day, it really was about that tire management and the guys being patient, not overdriving it in the first 10 laps. I think we're going to see a lot of that here with how much of a wide range of experience we have. I think we'll see a lot of the guys from that middle back start working their way to the front early, and as we get to that lap 15, lap 20 mark, really see that tire fall off, and those guys who have been saving up get to the front relatively quickly.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a thing to watch is, Kansas is a place where you can see people try to, pull off some, vast different, fuel strategies as you try to maybe clutch it through the corners or, run half throttle through the middle of a corner to try to save on a run, especially if you have a good gap between you and the car behind you chasing you down. So we could see some differences in, race strategy and how they handle this. And of course, that stage break at lap 65 going to be a good time for some of these guys to look at what their tire wear is, how they're running the truck in the early parts of this race, and it's going to be an interesting one.
Absolutely, fascinating to see the qualifying times here as we look at Dylan Chavis on the pole right now with 30.709. That whole top 20 there ranging within about 0.2 of a second. So you can see it really just one little slip up, losing that bottom line here in qualifying can get you anywhere from second place down to 22nd, just like that. So you can tell these guys here in the top 5 and top 10 have been practicing hard, and they're ready to put on a show here tonight.
Yeah, and another thing that we just saw, Kyler Hartley do right there as he came to the start-finish line is dive onto that, a little bit flatter banking on that the apron. My brain decided to pause for a second. The apron there, this track never leaves any kind of banking. It's kind of a progressive banking track. As you come down the front straightaway, you're sitting around 9 to 11 degrees, and then you dive off into the corners to a little bit steeper banking, and you try to cut some time off, maybe get some little bit of momentum diving onto that flat surface, trying to undercut a car or truck going into the first corner. So look for some people to use that line as well.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I'm going to bail out here for a minute, go talk to my drivers here in the drivers meeting, and we will be right back with more action here when we grid in about 10 minutes.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Lord, thank you for this event that we get to be a part of. Lord, just so thankful for the racers, the sponsors, the organizers that made this event possible. Lord, I pray for a heart posture of gratefulness and just this opportunity that we have to support these charities. Lord, I pray for the drivers as they race tonight, Lord, that they just glorify you with the things that they say and do. And Lord, just thankful for them and that they're able to come out here and choose these charities that they want to support. Lord, I pray that we remember that this is bigger than us, that this is for you, for your glory. Lord, that we just come to this with humility and thankfulness for this opportunity, Lord. I just pray that you have your hand over this night and all that happens. In your name we pray. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts hearts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Drivers, start your engines!
And he served in the army, where he lost his right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died. He wanted my
Hey everybody, NASCAR driver Anthony Alfredo here.
Hey everybody, Brennan Gaughan here.
Larry McReynolds here with NASCAR on Fox.
All the drivers competing this year are supporting a great cause because this is racing monthly on iRacing that ultimately supports great causes.
Go out, enjoy, be safe, and have fun.
Car peels on down pit road, and the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, off we go at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Good luck this season. Have a great time. Thanks for what you do, giving money to charity and getting a little iRacing in.
This is a great cause, a fun way to utilize the iRacing community in service to have fun competing against one another and doing good. I hope you guys enjoy racing in the Charity Cup Series. And see you on the track.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Kansas. As these guys get their warm-up laps in here, they're going to be parking it on the front stretch to get some pictures and such. But Jordan and I will kind of go through some of the information here with the Charity Cup Series. So right now, we've got the Truck Series here at Kansas. Stage break is at lap 65 that we talked about. 90% fuel capacity, 40 to 45 laps of fuel, 3 extra sets of tires. And then, of course, the Charity Cup format, $15 entry fee. Drivers choose their charity, and the top 5 positions get a donation to charity and the driver bonus. So everybody's racing for a good cause here, and we will see who gets to bring home that money to that charity. Let's see if we can go trackside here. We got the Eric Jones Foundation on Jason Harrison. Everybody lining up on the front stretch. Salvation Army, Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, and this makes for a great sight here, Mike, is, everybody lined up showing off the charities that they're representing, showing their support for the causes that mean the most to them, and definitely a beautiful sight.
Yeah, definitely everybody out on track, trying to get lined up so they can get the pictures for this March race. But we kind of talked about the way the race was going to shape up. How do you tend to race, Jordan, if you know there's going to be that stage break coming, about halfway through the race?
Yeah, I mean, I think that first stage is where you can kind of just go off and, test what your truck can do. I mean, you have that stage break to rely on. So you kind of maybe run a tad bit harder than you would normally, and just kind of see what happens if you go full out. How far can you make it on fuel if you run full out, and then partially through that, you want to try to maybe test to see how much you can save over the course of, say, 5 laps, 10 laps, whatever it may be, and kind of just build that mental notebook of what you're going to need throughout that last half of the race, that last, run, that second stage, and see, where you can get yourself a couple tenths here and there, and try to, set yourself up for the end of this thing rather than trying to go out and run this thing full out that second half without any kind of knowledge.
Yeah, definitely something to at least have in your back pocket there. Looks like we got about another minute here before this is over and they get ready to start gridding. Jordan, I know you were here last month. What was the racing like last time we were on track with the Charity Cup Series here?
I mean, 100% it was clean. I mean, you have your incidences, you have your run-ins, you have your cautions, but when you look at it as a whole, I mean, this entire Charity Cup series has been, I mean, almost flawlessly clean through and through. And these guys race with a lot of respect. They have more fun, I think, kind of pulling away from the, you're racing for points, aspect. You're kind of racing just for your charity and for, having a good time. It eliminates that competitive nature to just a bit. It's not going to completely eliminate it because, I mean, by nature, we just love being competitive. So we're never going to get rid of that. But, for the most part, there's a lot more give and take. So it's a ton of fun to watch. Different backgrounds. I know we've had a couple guys who their first races on the simulator were in, just getting out here and testing out a new hobby and having some fun. So, I mean, it's been a joy to just watch these guys have the fun that they are. It almost makes me want to just, try to be a broadcaster, commentator inside a race truck as you go around here at 170 mile an hour.
I don't know that that'd be a great idea there, but you never know what you guys can come up with here. But we'll turn it over to you guys, and I'll get out of the way and bring up the starting grid.
All right, brother. As we wait for that grid to pop up on the screen.
You guys like that little side by side there on the front stretch? Not the cleanest work, but the guys tried their best. There's the starting grid. There we go. Take it away, Jordan.
There we go. As Dylan Chavez and Adam Thompson going to be on the front row with Jacob Link and TJ Elaine in that second row. Third row going to be Ray Massey and Jeff Schmier. I butcher that one every time. Brian Bogner and Kyle Bosch. That's not Kyle Busch in row number 4. Row 5 going to be Thomas Myers and Josh Gowan, followed by Corey Lavallo and Tim. Oh, wow, that's a in row 6. Row 7 going to be Charles Childress and Austin Travis, with row 8 going to be Zachary Smith and Patrick Craven. Row 9 going to be Brenton Barker and Alan Dice, followed by row 10 Darnell Cibola and Chad Abernathy. Row 11 going to be Chris Rood and Joseph Sherry. And starting P23 and 24, Evan Jenks and Kyler Hartley here. Row 13, Patrick Wilkinson and Tyler Ziegler. Row 14 going to be Cody Atkins and Jason Harrison, followed by Stephen Ray and Jeffrey Miller. Jax Matthews and Mitchell Dolan going to be in row number 16, followed by I believe Curtis Mitchell, you're going to be in 33rd with the 34th being
Nope.
Cole Hutchinson and Michael Newton in row number 18, and that's going to round out 36, actually 35 truck field here tonight. As Curtis Mitchell is up here in the broadcast booth with us as that pace car makes that hard left turn. As we get ready to go green flag racing as they approach that restart zone. Dylan Chavez with the control. Green flag in the air from Kansas.
Man, you had a tough job there with that starting grid, but good work there, Jordan. Heading into turn one,
Longest starting grid.
Oh my gosh, that was the fastest moving starting grid I think I've ever seen too.
And something new this time around as iRacing, if we go yellow flag here on the start. Not sure what may have occurred. I don't see anything on says a spin in the back. So we're on board here with Patrick Craven.
Looks like we lost Kyler Hartley
It
into
looks
one.
like it looks like it says Craven, but it shows he's just sitting on pit road. So not entirely sure what has caused our caution here to start.
So if you look on Kyler Hartley, the 44, as he entered one, just got sideways and tried to save it. Got up against the wall there and then got touched from behind and just caught a couple cars stacked up. Doesn't look like anyone's out of commission. Probably a couple minutes of repairs for some of these guys, but definitely a tough way to start up the night here for Kyler Hartley.
Yeah, but the good thing is that was just the start, so you still have plenty of time to get back up to the front.
That voice chat's
we're
going off
on
already
the
from Michael's got his hands full down there on race control, I'll tell you.
Certainly does. As you see, yeah, right there, just around he goes, backs it into the wall. The two going around as well. Like you said, nobody, no harm, no foul, really. But as I was about to say is, you know, that 6 truck right there, Dylan Chavez, is showing us something a little new that's, you know, finally made its way onto the sim. It's that brand new Ram 1500 that we get to see on, you know, the IRL Craftsman Truck Series. So we got a little bit of a new flair added to the mix. Instead of just Toyotas, Fords, and Chevys, we got that Ram in here now. A little biased. I love the Ram, so nice to see it.
We got a couple guys from Great Lakes Sim that are joining us. TJ Elaine, some of his buddies, Tim Ruark. They put together some awesome paint schemes with those Rams, and we'll see them throughout the night because they're going to be running out front. They are really strong here, but they know what they're doing there with, I don't know if they're using Photoshop or trading paints, but they put together some awesome paint schemes for the trucks.
See right there, that 33 truck of TJ Elaine right there. That's a gorgeous truck. Got the RCR style 33 on the side of that thing, running for the junior, for Junior Nation.
Yep, so a lot of their guys actually ended up choosing the Dale Junior Foundation for their charity, which is pretty awesome. And so they've kind of teamed up, and we've done Dale Junior Foundation has been in the top 5 the last 2 races. So I would bet you that it's going to happen again here this race here in Kansas.
Absolutely. I mean, you never really know. I mean, we had a couple guys who stand out as really strong. Ray Massey, he's been up front each and every race so far, and super strong truck in that. I don't remember or see Mauricchio's name being called, as he's been fast in the first 2 races. Not here tonight. Cody Atkins and Alan Dice, both 2 fast racers as well, so look for them to find their way forward. As we get ready to rack them up and try this again, as we get ready to roll on to that restart zone. Chavez with the control once again as he fires off here.
What a start at the bottom for Dylan. Top lane got some bad momentum there as they're stacked up in the back. Almost going 3 wide, entering here into 1.
As you can see these guys somewhat. I know we just had that restart, but already some of these guys inching a little bit higher into that first turn. You see a couple guys being as tight to that bottom line as possible. As you see now this time around, you see almost 3 wide of cars. This turn 3 and 4 here is Chavez still in control. Ray Massey underneath Jake right here, right now. And you see there, everybody diving to that apron. It's almost like a shortcut, but not as quite as bad as Phoenix, if you know. I mean, it's not quite the shortcut at that track, but you know, it's able to kind of give yourself a little bit more space, maybe a little bit more of a drive off, being on a flatter surface. But then you got to try to merge your way back up onto the apron. You can certainly see somebody step out and kind of slide up the track at making that transition.
Absolutely, and you got guys that just run out of room, right? You got the guy who runs down to the bottom of the apron, and they stay too wide above you, and you can run out of real estate pretty quick here, and your entrance into one. So I'll be curious to see if we see any of that here in the race. Looks like the guys have started off pretty clean as they're getting single file here, almost first on back. That's still too wide there for second and third. Possibly going 3 wide here, get enough of a run there in the middle.
Yeah, Adam Thompson last time around was on the outside through 1 and 2, went to the middle there in 3 and 4, and it's going to be hard to try and find that clean air. You know, that dirty air on the front end of that truck can certainly cause you to have a little bit of a tight sensation, and you know, kind of have to pedal it off corner, as you see back there. I almost said 22 just because it's a cat car. But you see the cat machine back there. See the cat machine back there scrub the wall just a hair. You see here Adam Thompson just able to stick his nose in there to the outside of the 16 and kind of cause him to slow up. And Adam Thompson maybe checking up just a bit as looks like Josh Gowan there goes to the outside and makes the pass on him. As Chavez still out front here, and it looks like Link gonna try to make a run on the outside. And like I said, it's gonna be a big momentum track here. If you can carry that momentum up against the wall and ride that wall the whole way around the outside, you'll really find some speed as he goes down to the apron to go to the inside of Chavez now and head towards turns 1 and 2 again.
Oh,
And not quite clear. Almost looking like we're going to go 3 wide. Looks like it says Evan Jenks went off track, so we'll have to take a peek. Oh my goodness, there's carnage down here in turn number 1. I see the 9. Looks like the 308, the 17, the 308 might just be tripping through, just be like, I'm not a part of this. Oh, and one man right there stuck immobile. Seeing a bunch of names on here: Jason Harrison, Kyler Hartley, Brenton Barker, Patrick Wilkinson. Take a peek here, riding on board with Brenton Barker now. Looks like the 38, maybe? No, nothing. Yeah, the 38 going to get tagged, get loose. Going to tag the truck side of him, and then everybody just tries to go averting of any kind of danger. And when everybody starts scattering, just a bunch of hits. The 44, the 9, the 12, the 2, 17, 77, 67. With S.E. Martin. Just carnage all throughout that.
Running along here with Chad Abernathy. Looks like Joseph Sherry gets a run in the bottom. I'm not sure if he just came up or didn't. Just a tough deal there.
Yeah, so that was clear, you know, would have just been those guys. But then, you know, I think the 77, you know, you see a wreck happening, you try to avert yourself from it. There's another truck to the inside of him, which causes that to turn. And then other guys trying to avoid the carnage as it ensues.
It almost looked like Patrick Wilkinson in that 82 wasn't able to check up in time and just ended up getting in the back of Jason Harrison, and they all ended up going for a ride.
You know, and that goes right to what you were saying, you know, he might have, you know, very well thought that the 69 there would have dove onto the apron and, you know, there wouldn't have been anybody to his inside there. But, you know, you don't have to hit the apron, and certainly he did not. The truck of the 69 truck of Sherry not hit the apron and didn't want to use it, as the 77 of Brenton Barker, just coming down to kind of get away from the truck to his outside.
And this is why we have a fast repair. What?
Exactly. So a bunch of trucks going to get that fast prepare and, get back out here. Some of those with less damage, just going to try to fix it up, try to save that fast repair. But certainly some hard knocking hits there early on.
It'll be interesting to see the pit strategy here with obviously the stage break happening at lap 65. We're looking at about, as we said in the beginning of the broadcast, between 40 and 45 laps of fuel on these runs and only 3 extra set of tires. So the guys are going to have to for sure pit 4 times to get fuel, and one of those times they will not be able to get tires. So these cautions definitely throw that into a loop a bit, but yeah, that strategy will definitely come into play here later on in the race.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where you might see some of these guys that are up here in this front group maybe start to fall back in the lineup. Not because they're running slower, not because, they're not as fast. Maybe just trying to coast through, maybe get a couple extra laps towards that stage break and, have some fresher tires, maybe not come down at the stage break and just kind of flip the field there. We've seen some crazy strategies, so you never really know. But it's going to be interesting to see what these guys come up with as we get ready to, I believe the pace lights are off. Yeah, the pace lights are off. Certainly going to hand this over to Jacob Link, as it's going to be the first restart that someone else is in control here. As that 74 rolls on then to that restart zone. He's going to fire off and doesn't get quite going on that outside line, just as we saw the last restart there before. It's almost like that control truck has all of the power there. Can certainly put a gap between him and the second row and the outside pole there.
It's amazing. It really does replicate the restart zone at Phoenix, where you have that top lane is just hanging out to dry once you get that run on the bottom. And I think we've seen that a couple times just with that struggle. It looks like Dylan Travis is quite slow here on the top. He's probably saving tires here as the guys are running pretty hard beneath them. Be interested to see kind of how strategies play out here as the race continues.
I was going to say, take a look there as the 23 of Ray Massey finds his way back to second place. He was fighting Jacob Link for that second place. Now he's going to try to fight Jacob Link for that race lead. And Ray Massey, we've seen a ton of speed out of him from all 3 races that we've run so far. And he's a fast racer there, man. And it's certainly one to watch as we get into this race. 15 laps completed of 150. That 65 lap stage break going to be a killer to figure out what these trucks went through. And Ray Massey, certainly one of those guys that is a prime candidate to be up front and running for the win here.
As we see John Goen, Adam Thompson, and Thomas Myers here. Thomas Myers, one of our newest add-ons to the league, running with his buddies Tyler Ziegler and Kyler Hartley, representing the same charity, actually, the Children's the Stroke Association for Children. I can't pronounce the whole thing, but we'll see that here later on in the race as we get over to Tyler and Kyler's.
Some scrubbing of the wall there by the 29 truck of Brian Bogner. As we'll see that quite often, I think, especially with some of the guys running down on the bottom, as they try to put the power down, may get to the power just a touch bit too early, and it's going to cause that truck to kind of plow a hair off corner, and you don't want to give up too much time by completely getting out of it, so you kind of pedal that throttle and just kind of hope from the Lord above that you don't smack that wall harder than you anticipate.
We had a good 3-wide battle here with the 22 on the bottom. They are keeping their lines pretty tight, though. I'm impressed. Is there? Oh,
no,
little bump there with Cody Atkins in the back. Oh man!
Just as you said that, the look like I believe this fixed. I can't tell because the number's black against the dark color.
Joseph Sherry in 69, I believe.
Yeah, the Joseph Sherry and Atkins almost collecting each other there.
Oh boy!
Oh,
Oh boy!
just as we say that, a 57.
Careful! Joseph, gotta hold the line, bud.
And this might be, no, everybody stays straight. I don't know how we keep going, but they do. As what a drive there by the 40 of Darnell. Just absolutely wheeling that truck to stay straight. That's if we had an award for Reese's Cup move of the race, I'd definitely say that was a move to be worthy of it, as the 6 and 14 get real tight here off corner. As like I said, we'd see that 3 wide action here. Is, you know, we've got 1 on the apron, 2 on the banking as they dive into turns 1 and 2. And you know, later on, this is going to be one of those things you watch that somebody trying to get all they can get is looks like I don't think that was Elaine. It might have been TJ Elaine grabbing the wall there. But with these guys running 3 wide later on, tires are worn out. Might see some more chaos in the making later on in this thing, as these trucks are certainly going to take a beating. And there goes the 22.
Oh, Charles Childress around right into Austin Travis. Oh, that's a hard wreck. Tim Ruark involved.
Charlie Childress there. 44 of, I believe, Hartley. And that looked like a case of one of the things I talked about at the top of the hour, where, you know, that transition on and off the banking. We'll take a look here from our chopper cam. As they go into 3 and 4, it'll come down this front stretch here. As it take a peek here, does he get the contact? No, just like I said, you're kind of running the apron. He's kind of on the line there and splitting the banking and the flat of the apron, and that's you're going to be way off balance. And once that progressive banking hit its peak right there around the start finish line, you see that outside wheel is going to have a lot more traction than the one that's partially on the flat.
You can see him lifting real bad here, scrubbing that right front.
So he's going to be right here in that tri-oval, and it's just loose enough. Tags the 28 machine of Austin Travis.
Looks like it was only those 3 or 4 that were involved. I don't know who he T-boned up there. If that was Adam, I believe that was Adam Thompson in the 62 up against the wall that got hit.
I do see Tim Ruark.
Yep,
on pit road right now.
44. He got pretty hard hit as well.
So you see some guys coming down pit road now, take advantage of this caution. Adam Thompson with some right front fender damage, so he may have been on that outside line, as he's going to use that fast repair. You just see a magic wand waved over top that 62 machine and all the panels. Don't you wish you could do that in real life?
Oh man, a lot more people would race in real life, I'll tell you that.
I know I'd take my shot at racing in the real world if I could just wave a magic wand and all the fenders and quarter panels were straight and back on the car.
It looks like we had 8 guys stay out there. Brian Bogner, TJ Elaine, Dylan Chavez, Jason Harrison, Evan Jenks, Patrick Wilkinson, Brenton Barker, and Darnell Cibola. I know for sure Brian and TJ have practiced their strategy here all week. I have been.
Oh, absolutely.
Brian has done more AI sessions in the last week than I've done in my life, practicing fuel strategy, getting these tires put together. You can see that beautiful black Canines for Warriors truck he put together. He wanted to unveil that last month, but was actually had a different scheme, and he was unable to unveil that one as well. So this is a special moment. He worked hard to get this one put together, really seeing the fruition of his practice on getting these paint schemes together, and it's a beautiful truck he's got here for this night race in Kansas.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of also an understated thing in the world of our, of this series, is not only do they get to represent the charities that they choose and put on their trucks, and what means the most to them, but they also get to show the creative freedom that they have, in their minds to, come up and design what they want and how they feel will, draw the most attention to it, and what makes them feel good. And I love that. I mean, I've seen people go on to make, they send their diecast out to these different art people and stuff like that to get these actually done on a diecast, and be happy and appreciative of the things they create.
Absolutely.
So third caution here, as Pace Car is going to give the control to Brian Bogner and TJ Elaine. And, I wonder if there's even a chance to do some kind of teammate restart here. I know it's not Daytona. These things aren't as wound up as they are, but it'll be interesting to see as they go back under green flag here. And Elaine gets a better run than we've seen most people on the outside. It's still side by side with Chavez. As
what
Bogner going to be able.
Oh, we got another yellow. Oh man.
This is a little out of the scope that we've seen here so far in the Charity Cup Series. This is it's a little out of the ordinary. We don't normally see cautions like this, but the more grip that we have, I guess the more grip you have, this kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, false sense of control, especially on newer tires. As we saw everybody come down that first turn. You're on fresh tires. You're going to be a little cold on the pressures, and it's going to want to step out on you. We'll see here what happened. It looks like four wide might have been certainly 4 wide was a different issue, as the 74 was our leader before that.
Man, that took out some good trucks. Jacob Link, Cody Atkins, Chris Rude was in there. Ray Massey making a bold move to go down low like that. It just looked like the guy right above him. I don't know if that was Jacob Link or who that was holding that
Looked
line.
like, I believe it was Massey, John Gowan, then Jacob Link. I'm not sure who was on that 4th row, but he was just along for the ride at that point, way up there out high. Looks like the 40 machine of Darnell Cibola. He's just out there on his own, just not even knowing what's going on to the inside of him there. But Thompson collected again. That's going to be killer for his races. We just saw him take that fast repair. The 4 of Stephen Ray getting collected there. The 01 here of Corey Lavallo. Going to come down and get some service. He wasn't in too much of a trouble there, but certainly maybe a little bit of a hammer there to the fenders to knock that thing back out and straightened out.
So we are switching over to single file restarts here for this particular start, as we've had, unfortunately, what is that, 4 cautions in the first 30 laps here, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, like I said, it's very unlike the Charity Cup Series so far, as we've had relatively clean racing. I believe before the show started, we had been talking about the total number of green flag to yellows that we've run. But, here a little bit of a, Kansas, I mean, it might be a little bit of a twister out here in Kansas, and sending Dorothy and Toto away. I had to give that analogy.
I like it. Hey, it was you had every right? It's tough after running the practice races here last week. We had about 25 guys show up, and only had, I believe, one or two cautions at that time. Ran some green flag laps. TJ Lane came out with the win with his buddy William George. I was actually able to get P3, which was awesome. But we had a lot of clean racing. The guys were running well. Definitely seeing some of the growing pains here of having a higher driver count, a little bit less room to work with, a faster track, a little bit higher adrenaline. Hopefully these guys are able to calm it down a little bit. We're only 20% into the race, got a long way to go. Most of these guys don't have their fast repairs anymore, so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult, a little bit more conservative. But we'll definitely have to see how things play out here in these next couple laps, as I'm assuming most of these guys in the back are on fresh tires with some fuel after that crash.
Absolutely. As we watch that pace car turn off again, single file restart here to start this restart. As Bogner going to fire off here, Chavez going to follow in line with TJ Lane in that third spot. Jason Harrison, our biggest mover so far, up 24 spots, followed by Evan Jenks and Patrick Wilkinson, both up 18 and 19 spots as well. So 3 massive movers here so far early in this thing, as they may have benefited from a couple of these cautions, couple of trucks being knocked out early. As you see, Massey goes to the center there trying to take over. I believe it was the 77 there to his outside of Bretton Barker.
Spaced out a little bit here as we complete lap 30. They're side by side here in the back as we're riding along with the 82 Patrick Wilkinson. Got the 22 of Jeff Schmeier back after running his January race. Good to have him and Alzheimer's Motorsports back with us here in March. And the 35 there at the bottom of Evan Jenks as well, in that homemade scheme that he made as well. That thing is lighting up really nice on the lights here. They're really tight.
It's really tight there.
Man.
Almost had a broadcaster's curse there for you on Evan Jenks as he got loose off of turn 4 here. And yeah, it's like it's one of those things. It's going to happen to you.
Oh, Ray. Oh, he almost took it 4 wide again. Ray Massey really trying to get up to the front here.
And I mean, he's got the speed. He's got the speed for it, certainly. And you know, he's one that likes to have the control of the pace. As he's going to go to the inside here of the 9 of Jason Harrison. You know, with these cautions, it might actually really benefit the front 2 of Dylan Chavez and Brian Bogner, as they have not come down pit road once yet tonight.
What a cross.
Might help get them to.
And he overtakes Brian Bogner heading into 3. What a move.
As he was just down on lap 23, as well as Ray Massey down on lap 23 as well. So those guys with 23 lap fresher stuff, then, or 23 lap fresher, 10 lap fresher stuff, then the guys in the 2nd and 5th position, 3rd and 5th position, my apologies there. As those guys are going to just basically try to hang on for dear life and keep as many spots as they can here. Maybe try to make it to the end of this stage. I know we've had 11 laps of caution, but oh, looks like Schmeier may have grabbed the wall there. But, you know, those guys might be able to stretch it out just to the stage break, or maybe just before flip the stage. These guys that came down lap 23 would have to come down at that stage break. And, you know, it might work in their favor to flip, as there goes the
82 there, Patrick Wilkinson with the wall.
And, you know, I was looking on the side of the door for the 82, and I couldn't see it, but now it's right down there in the bottom right-hand part of the door panel there.
That's the next gen number location.
Yeah, that's what we're going to see in, you know, 2035 when they put the number there.
He called it. He called it.
Oh, man.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I'm not surprised of is that this line that TJ Lane is running, that Larson line that they run at Homestead, he knows what he's doing. He doesn't care how many spots he loses here. He will run all the way back to 20 if he needs to. Because I guarantee you, if he runs that well and doesn't get in the wall, he will drive his way back to the top 5, guaranteed.
Even on these older tires, once these guys get worn out, he's going to save, you know, not a ton of tire being on that higher line, but if he runs it right, he can save enough that he can kind of get close to equal with these guys towards the end of this this run here. He's got about just under 30 laps to go here in this first stage. It looks like Joseph Sherry on pit road here now has had a tough start here so far this afternoon, or this evening. I said this afternoon. Holy cow. It's time for me to hit the bed.
I mean, I think it's safe to say it's afternoon in California. That's 2 hours, 5:37.
But you know, we might see these guys, maybe if they run that high line, be able to stabilize and find their way towards the front towards the end of this little stage here. Oh, just Schmeier going to grab the wall, and that might be enough just to get Massey right there to that rear bumper and maybe make a move on him here. As see right there in the corner of your screen, Joseph Sherry making his way back onto the racing surface, trying to salvage a good finish for him.
As I'm looking over the laps that these guys went into pit, you got the front three who pit on lap 23 with those fresher tires. Jason Harrison running fourth, who pit on lap 11. So kudos to him for holding up that top five with 12 laps less on the. He might have the same tires, might have just gone in for fuel in the fast repair. As he was involved in that early wreck, I'm not sure what set tires he's on, but he is holding his own up there. And then, as you said, Brian Bogner and we got TJ Elaine, who have not pit yet, and will likely need to go in here in the next 2 to 3 laps, depending on how much fuel they save during those cautions.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a thing to watch and see what happens. You know, if they were clutching well enough, I don't see them getting to the end of the stage. As much as I want to be, you know, positive and think, yeah, you guys can make it. I mean, I see Dylan Chavez, he's dropped all the way down to 14th. So he might be aggressively saving here to maybe make a pit stop just at the end of the stage. But it's going to be interesting to watch, because if you fall too far back, you're going to put yourself in jeopardy of going down a lap on this. I mean, it's a fast mile and a half. It's It says 74 of Jacob Link all over the back of the 57 of Alan Dice, just trying to find a way to push somebody forward and move himself forward. As we saw him just recently in that incident there a couple of laps ago, trying to make up this. TJ Elaine, he just grabbed the wall there.
One of the advantages of some of these guys is they may not have the best sim racing experience, but a lot of these guys, including Jacob Link, have a lot of real life experience running Legends cars, running late models. Talking with Jacob Link, who is running that Eric Jones Foundation 74 back there. He races Legends cars, running at Charlotte and Atlanta. Was unable to make it in February, but we're definitely seeing that experience pay off at the speed that he's showing.
I can definitely tell you it takes a different breed of human being to run those Legends cars as well, because back in my time of working down at Dominion Raceway, you know, for those that might not know, it's kind of where you run several different series within an entire day. So we used to run with, you know, a lot of the Legends cars, and those guys would be on the chip down into the corner of a high banked track. You would watch them slide out and slide into the corners, and it takes a lot of guts to run those Legends cars, as they are fully wound up and ready to rip. Is someone ready to rip here is Ray Massey, as he goes to the inside, has the lead for just a touch of a second, going to lead this lap by and going to try to look for the race lead going down into turn number 1. As you can maybe see that momentum on the outside of Jeff Schmeier, going to be able to, you know, try to hold him off. You see that momentum as Massey shuts the door with, I want to say, centimeters left between the two of them.
And you can just hear that tire scrub with Ray trying to run that bottom. We'll see if that pays off. He ran one of the best lines I've seen at Texas last month with that race win. Jeff Schmeier obviously getting the top 5 back in January at Charlotte. These are two of some of the most experienced guys I've seen in our league, two of my favorites for the race today. And it'll be, I'm fascinated to see if Jeff Schmeier decides to just hold back, as he's kind of tested the waters to see how hard Ray Massey's going to run. And at this point, you're running second. There ain't no catching him right now. You might as well drop back a little bit, start getting those tires in place for a longer run here to end the stage.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have built up over almost a 2 3/4 second lead over the third place truck. So, I mean, you have time to play with here. As you see John Gowan, we see Chavez, he now making his stop. Evan Jenks making his stop as well. So not quite able to make it, you know, the full distance here, as we'll take a peek here at TJ Elaine under fire by Jacob Link here. Elaine and Bogner, two guys that we look for maybe coming down pit road as well here soon, as you know, they were on the same tires as Chavez, but they're just hanging on for dear life.
Another guy we got coming in here behind Jacob Link is that 20 of Patrick Craven, another guy on TJ Lane's team with Great Lakes Sim, running the Project Hope Foundation. Patrick has more credentials than I've ever seen in my life. This man has been everywhere. Within the military, the police department, within fire and rescue, and
Real tight.
what?
Sorry.
Oh boy! And he pit. TJ Lane pitting down low. They just avoided him. I don't know.
That
if
was
he got
almost
right there. But
that was almost William. What was it? William Byron and Ty Dillon. That was almost that interaction there.
Terrible day that
Whew. That's that was a close one there as he shuts the door on the 57 of Alan Dice.
Alan Dice changing up his charity this month. Was running a different one back in January, running the Shirley's Angels Animal Rescue this run. He's got a whole different paint scheme, running that blue and purple combo. Alan out of Augusta, West Virginia. Really, really strong driver as well. Excited to see what he can do with that blue and purple 57.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Is like, do I even talk about him? You know, I know him personally. You know, I've run with him for several years. I want to say since roughly 2017, 2018. It's like anytime I bring it up, it's something happens. So I'm gonna avoid giving him any praise simply to avoid the broadcasters versus the 40 goes around of Darnell Sabola. To be able to not hit anything. Gonna try to goose it here. Trying to goose it here, maybe. Yeah, there he goes. Gets a goosed and gets himself moving forward.
We also had Brian Bogner coming to the pits, Patrick Wilkinson, Joseph Sherry, all getting their pit stops in here before the stage with 15 to go. As we said before, that strategy really coming out here. As I have a feeling once we hit that stage break, we're not going to see TJ and Brian going in to get tires. So they'll like to get to the front here, and that'll push Ray and Jeff to the back, only for them to probably drive back forward with cleaner tires once we hit that stage caution. So I think we're in for a treat here in about 15
minutes. A big thing is going to be if TJ, Elaine, and Brian Bogner can get themselves back and buy that 23 of Ray Massey for that to play out well for them. But you also got to make sure you don't burn stuff up, because if they're caught a lap down, they're going to have to take a wave around. They're going to be at the back of the pack of everybody that pits. So, I mean, unless you're Dylan Chavez, Dylan Chavez right now, his only goal is to stay in that lucky dog spot to kind of get himself that free lap back. But everybody else gonna have to take that wave around. But that's the goal here for those three trucks that we saw stay out a long time. Elaine, Chavez, and Bogner. Those guys are gonna be looking to get to Massey. As you see them into turns 3 and 4 now. I'm trying to see if I can see.
Really,
turns 3 and 4
happening there in 7th and 8th between Atkins and Craven. Within a second, within those 5 or 6 positions back there. We got a fun battle going back there for 6th and 7th.
You see Link, he's just trying to find his way back to the front where he had been most of the night. And running strong. Adkins, another one of those ones that anytime I talk about him, because I've known him for so long, Adkins, I got mixed up between him and Dice again. Adkins, another one of those guys I've raced with for so long, it's like, try not to praise him and jinx him. But him running to the inside of Jake Link here now, as they run side by side, Link gonna grab the wall, get way too close for comfort to the 55 there on his inside. Another guy running for the Dale Jr. Foundation as well. Got the V-speed on the side of that machine as well.
It's so hard getting into the wall there on the backstretch because it sucks you in like a vacuum. And to get it off the wall, you gotta, especially if you're in the turns, you gotta crank it so hard that once you get off and you overcorrect, if you got a guy beneath you, you better be praying you get it back to straight, or else you're gonna hook him right in the right side, and both of your days are done.
Yeah, it's one of those things you either try to pull it off the wall yourself or give up a ton of time getting off throttle, and it's kind of a I was trying to find some better words to say, because the words I was going to say are not what I want to say. You're kind of in a sticky predicament as you try to, get that under control in the best way possible. It looks like the 9.
He was off track coming out of the pit. I don't know what happened, but he was definitely off pace as he left pit lane.
Yeah, trying to, get as much, throttle and power off the off the pit road and onto the track, just so you can try to lap yourself or unlap yourself. Can easily send that thing around too quickly. Once you get right about end of turn 2, kind of send yourself around.
Looks like
As Ray Massey
disconnected for a minute, he's back in the game here. Not sure what that was about.
Well, we've been under control since he was, disconnected. So maybe the race control a little bit of a broadcaster's curse. I'm just playing.
We've had a couple of them. We've got 7 to go here in the stage.
And once again, Ray Massey out front, about a second and a quarter over Jeff Schmeier. And I mean, Ray Massey comes to dominate, and he's certainly put in crazy laps each and every race so far here, as Gowan now falls about 3.5 seconds off of P2, as we still have a fight on our hands for 5th and 6th here between Adkins and Myers. Myers a little tight off the corner, going to wash the 55 up to the outside. They run side by side down that front stretch. Link just kind of watching in distance, trying to figure out, you can usually kind of pick a line to go with that moves forward and kind of move yourself forward with it.
Oh, and it looks like we lost Chad Abernathy coming out of the pits. We were able to get that replay at some point. It looks like he was unable to exit the pit safely and went around, had to go back into pit lane. That's unfortunate.
Take a peek here. It looks like, I don't know. Maybe didn't like something in the truck. Chose to call for the imaginary tow truck to pull him all the way around, and he's going to be sitting there for a while waiting for that that tow to be finished. As it looks like now Link has made his way around Myers. Adkins has moved himself up into the P5 position.
Brent Barker very slow in the top lane. I'm not sure if they had an issue or if he's just letting guys by.
You see here, Chavez and TJ Lane going at it side by side. I don't think that either of them are going to have time to catch Ray.
What a strategy. What in the world? Brent Barker, last pit on lap 11. He's still out on track. Everyone else is pit. He is the last one standing.
A bump there from TJ Lane to the back of the 55. Again, for TJ, all he's thinking about is beating the 6 truck here now. As I say, I don't think they're going to have enough time to make up a 7.5 second difference to the race lead to unlap themselves. Ray Massey has put himself on an island, almost 2 seconds ahead of Jeff Schmeier, 4.5 seconds ahead of John Gowan. And these two right here, this is your battle for the lucky dog position here right now. As they're side by side, TJ Lane going to drift up in front of the 6. This is an insane battle with just 2 laps to go here in the stage. And certainly, I believe this could be a, 2 guys that could race for the win against Ray Massey. As Ray Massey, again, separated himself on an island. You see Chavez going to give him a big push down the backstretch. You'd think this is the white flag lap for the race itself. As we're going to go white flag on the stage here. As TJ Lane and Chavez go across the line here now, and it looks like TJ might have himself a little bit of a good separation there. Is now Ray Massey going to go down the backstretch. Oh, and we have a caution.
There's the stage.
Oh, I thought we still had a lap. I looked at it wrong.
Might have called it a lap early. There might have been a miscommunication on that one. That's all right.
Ooh, I was getting all revved up there. The way they were running, it certainly felt like it was the white flag on the entire race instead of the white flag on the stage. But Ray Massey dominant here as we get the longest green flag run we've had tonight. I mean, Ray Massey took advantage of that, ran away. TJ Lane's going to win that battle for the lucky dog. As we'll take a peek here. Maybe this might have... I don't think that would have triggered anything as we looked at that for just a second. We do see it says Brenton Barker jumped to the pits.
It did say he wrecked as well. I don't know if he spun out getting to the pits.
Yeah, but it shows after the yellow flag was thrown, so it looks like maybe he came to a stop, which registers them as crashed, and then he just took the tow to the pit lane as well.
I'm not sure if he ran out of gas when they closed pits because he was out for a while, or if he just had bad damage. I'm not sure. We've seen that twice now with Brenton and Chad jumping to the pits like that. I'm not 100% sure why that is.
Not 100% at all, and it's one of those things. It hurts too because now you have to sit there, and I want to say the tow is easily like at least a minute long.
About a minute 20 on that tow, yeah.
So I mean, I mean, thankfully it's under caution. Might only lose a lap or two. As we'll see if Ray Massey can win that race off of pit road. You see Adam Thompson come in. He's a little roughed up there on the fenders there. Is Ray Massey going to fire off and going to win the race off pit road? And Jeff Schmeier going to keep his position as well. Looks like Jacob Link going to be able to hop into the third. Cody Atkins into that fourth spot with Thomas Myers taking that fifth position. As we've seen a lot of big movers, we've also seen a lot of big fallers. As Adam Thompson, he's sitting in 24th right now, down 22 spots from where he started.
TJ Lane just getting into his pit box now. I'm not sure what that was about.
TJ Lane had to wait, I guess. You know, he had to take off, go all the way around these guys, and then pit with the lucky dog.
Yep,
so that's my assumption.
That makes sense. So
And
we'll
then
see
you
how
have
iRacing handles this race control part here with the restart. So that's going to be interesting.
You're going to see all these guys now. They're going to take off, go around, get their wave around, which I believe... Okay, there goes Bogner. So I want to say everyone from 17th on back going to take the wave around, going to give the control back to Ray Massey and Jeff Schmeier.
There we go. Good job, guys. Glad we didn't have any issues there. That's never a good thing when you got a lapper starting out in the front row.
Yeah. Got that automatic wave around.
We might have just added a lap to the caution to get those guys in place here.
Yeah, when those pace lights go out, that's when we get that wave around. So got all these guys that are going to haul the mail all the way around the racetrack just to get back in line. We'll see if that pace car still drops down or not, just to be sure. That's one thing I wish we did have coded into this. If we did add a lap, the pace lights come back on, but I feel like that would be a little much there for the iRacing.com pace car as he goes off and hands the control to Ray Massey. Is Massey going to have control of the race start for the first time here tonight as he's going to fire off and leave him in the dust? As we've seen, the control car is able to get such a gap, but with the air here at Kansas, they're able to just
there goes Corey Lavallo. He was around the apron. Looks like it was just a single car.
Yeah, he's going to be able to put it on pit road, but that's certainly going to most likely give him the black flag there for unsafe pit entry. But we stay green here as we keep rolling on. Ray Massey and Schmeier on the 1 and 2 spot, able to pull away from Myers just a touch here. And let's see if these guys go just as hard as they were towards the end of that stage. I mean, they certainly don't look like they want to let up in the slightest bit here.
It'll be fascinating to see who's running the fastest laps here. I'm not sure if we're able to change that on the graphic on the leaderboard, but I think we're going to be able to really tell who's got new tires and who just got fuel at that stage break. But we do have a couple guys that stayed out and did not go in at that stage, including Wagner, Jason Harrison, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, that time around, the fastest car on the racetrack was Alan Dyson, fourth place with a 30.91. Ray Massey and Jeff Schmeier, 31.05 to a 31.02. So everybody, I want to say probably from, I'd say probably all the way from 16th up, took all four. The way their times are all aligned, I know that the Ray Massey machine took 4 tires. He's going to slide up in front of Jeff Schmeier. You see all these guys starting to pull up to the back bumper of the 1 and 2 trucks. As now you're going to start seeing them fan out, looking for the cleanest air. You're not going to get clean air if your name's not Ray Massey. You're not going to get that clean air because everybody's going to fan out into a different lane. But certainly going to be searching for the cleanest line. You see 1st through 7th, all within a tight little pack here. Then 8th on back turns into a whole nother pack. You're on board there with the number 7 of Jax Matthews.
One of the Samaritan's Purse, number 7. That's an amazing organization. Really cool that Jax decided to represent them in this race. He put that paint scheme together back in January. One of the first paint schemes I actually created as well that kind of sparked the Charity Cup idea. So really cool to have them involved in this organization.
And I do want to point out, the great work that you put in on the wonderful slideshow for all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Is, unfortunately, I think my computer was having a hissy fit early on. It kept wanting to freeze with the several tabs of things I had open. I don't know if we're using up the bandwidth here in my booth versus your booth, but you being able to pull out all of that stuff. Wonderful work you do behind the scenes, and we love you for everything that you do to help us put on a wonderful broadcast. And also your second time here in the booth, man. You're doing a wonderful job, and we love having you up here as well. I just wanted to get that across the airwaves.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been fun to hang up in the booth and kind of see it from the bird's eye view. Shout out some of the guys who are racing. Everyone wants to get their name called on the broadcast, right? You got family watching, you got friends. You want to be featured. You want your charity to be shown. You want your truck to be complimented, and you want your racing skill to come out in that top 5. So I'm glad that I get to just kind of contribute to that and watch these guys just kind of live out what they believe in and what they've practiced, and especially these two guys right here, Brian Wagner and TJ Lane, been some of the biggest supporters for me in running this league. TJ Lane, more of a recent one with his Great Lakes Sim team, and then Brian Wagner being one of the first to sign up for the league. And just really doing his best to contribute everything he can to make this a success. So couldn't have done it without these guys. Obviously, the Lord is in control of all of it. But I'm thankful for the traction that we've had. Now, fortunately, the clean racing we're seeing here in the second half of this race in Kansas.
Yeah, I always say the start of a race is the hardest because, it's one of those things. You have those jitters. You have those anxious feelings of just getting underway. Is we're 78 laps into this thing, and as we run, we've only had 15 laps of caution. I know that sounds like a ton when it's a 150 lap race, but it's not too terrible. We got it out of the way early, and hopefully we can have a green on from here on out as Massey and Schmeier switch places on the racing surface and make a run here as, again, this top 7, all within striking distance of each other. And this is where it's going to come down to, who can find the cleanest run and be able to hold the momentum throughout the entirety of each turn. As, at the top of the broadcast, talked about this being a momentum track, and really haven't seen anyone be able to run it efficiently and productively right against the wall, but we've certainly seen people enter as high as they can and run maybe about a lane off the wall and carry as that much momentum. I think for right here you see the 07 of Myers, about the closest to the wall we've seen all night. I think later on in this run towards probably the last pit stop, is I think maybe one stopper in this stage would be able to get it done. But if we see somebody, you know, maybe take the chance on running that outside line confidently, that could be the difference maker between who comes away with this thing versus, you know, everybody kind of running that middle to low line, which we've seen Massey and Schmeier be able to dominate. So
there are two guys we haven't talked about really at all tonight. Chris Rude in the 32 and Zachary Smith in the 1. Chris Rude putting on a good show these last two races with walking rolling costumes, Ray Massey's teammate, along with Jeff Wright, who was not able to make it tonight. And Zach Smith in that Beagles and Bentley's number 1. He's been a fun addition to the group as well. Was able to get in last minute for us. He is out of Richmond, Virginia, and has been able to be a good contributor to the league as well.
yeah, Zachary Smith, another one of those racers raced with for several years out of the below the Double Yellow Racing League, and you know, consistently strong in his endeavors in every race, and certainly one to watch here as we get later on in this as well. As I get so anxious to talk about guys that I know personally.
I was
as
too.
soon as as soon as I say something, I just kind of hold my breath and like forget to talk.
We got Scott Martin here in the 67, another one of the Great Lakes Sim drivers. He's joined us back for the February race, I believe, as well. Out of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, he's representing the Great Lakes Recovery Center for his charity, going towards their Compassionate Care Fund to help pay for treatment when all other options are lost. That's cool. That's really neat. He's representing them.
And TJ Elaine here still stuck back in about the 17th position, right around where he restarted, as well as Brian Bogner, another guy just kind of right where they had restarted after that pit stop, and you know, hasn't really moved forward. And I mean, it's kind of surprising unless they're kind of taking a little bit more of a conservative aspect. You see him, he's definitely one that's kind of moved up to that outside line and really tried to run it as tightly and cleanly to the outside line so far.
Now, one interesting thing to note is within those three guys, Brian Bogner and Jason Harrison have not pit after the stage. They stayed out before that stage break, and TJ Elaine did pit. However, I wouldn't be surprised if he took just fuel at that point, as he did have that wave around and was not able to pit for as long as he probably would have hoped as those cars were coming around, trying to save those last two sets of tires, potentially for the cautions here at the end of the race. That couple, you know, half-second gap with fresh tires on a green-white checkered can come into play and get you all the way from the back, all the way up to the top 5 in no time. So
Yeah.
we'll see what his strategy is.
Yeah, I mean, with Elaine, I would be surprised if Elaine didn't take the 4 tires there, simply just strictly on the fact that he was the lucky dog, so he would have gotten the full time. We know Bogner wouldn't have had any of that simply because he would have been a wave around, wouldn't have gotten the chance to pit, because had he pit, he would have given up that chance. So we know Bogner, you know, he's just out here trying to, you know, conserve. But it's also one of those things, you know, maybe TJ didn't. I mean, we haven't seen Chavez, TJ, or Brian Bogner move really all that forward. So maybe just being conservative here, getting to that last stop, and then, you know, maybe just running it full out and making the time up there towards the end. But it's a tough thing to overcome.
So with the stage break being on lap 65, guys pitting in on lap 66, we got a caution here, because I was about to go on my scientific rant.
As that might be a little bit of a tide turner there for Bogner and TJ, as it looks like Myers may be the guy, as he's on the apron here, coasting back up onto the racing surface. We'll take a peek here. As Myers goes into the corner side by side with the 74, I believe. And they're just going to come off corner. No touch there. Oh, there it is. Just down the backstretch. Lucky for the 07 at this point in time, as I'm saying it, does not make contact with anything. So that being a saving grace for the 07 there.
Good call on the caution. I'm not sure if that was iRacing or Michael. If that was Michael, great call. That he was right in the way. That was, I am shocked no one ended up getting into him there. As he was able to recover nicely. Just kind of ran out of real estate there. Came down into Jacob on the bottom. Fortunately got around. We'll have a good angle here as you kind of watch that seam. Just kind of see if Jacob holds his line. As Jacob did end up moving up a little bit.
It's just one of those, racing deals. You're trying to, pull a draft off the side of the truck next to you. And if you both kind of have an idea to kind of converge closer, you kind of meet in the middle. And usually the guy that's a little ahead is always the one that's going to take the fall for that. And it looks like that was the case there with Myers, as just gets turned off the nose of the 74 of Jacob Link.
Now talk about
no harm, no foul.
Talk about a good break for these guys we were just talking about, right? TJ Lane, Brian Bogner, Dylan Chavez, Patrick Wilkinson getting tires here with the leaders staying out. They're going to be able to get their track position back. And should we get another caution towards, say, lap 105, 110, even 120, we could see the entire field go back in for their last set of tires, and that puts Brian and TJ right back in the mix. Had we gone green, I think we would have seen a very different outcome. So a huge break for those guys that were trying to save their stuff, as we do see an EOL penalty putting Jacob Link at the back. As much of a racing deal as that looked like, he did drift up into that top lane, so he will get an end-of-the-line penalty for that incident.
Yeah, that's one of those. I kind of like to equate that to when a pitcher throws a pitch right there on the edge of the strike zone. It's kind of a toss-up. Do you call it a ball? Do you call it a strike? And in this scenario, we decided to call that a strike, and he takes the EOL. But for someone like Jacob Link, it's not going to be too terrible on him. It is going to be a fall a lot further than we've seen so far this year with the 3 races we're in. We're in the process of race number 3. The 3 other 2 we have run, he would have kind of fallen a little less than this. So going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle if it were January or February, but still going to be a strong truck there to ride this out.
One guy we haven't talked about a whole lot, Kyle Bosch, sitting up in 10th in that 16 machine with the Semper Fi and America Fun truck. Found him on Twitch. He's got a really awesome Bosch gaming channel. And I put together that scheme for him. We kind of tag team on some ideas, and he's been fast. He ran both practice races with us. Really talented driver, got a really fun personality. Mitchell Dolan as well, sitting up in 9th. Good for him. We haven't seen that speed out of him quite yet, so I'm hopeful we can get some good laps out of his 308 machine there at 9th.
Pace car off the racing surface. Jeff Schmeier with control and goes late in the box. I think it's the latest we've seen anybody go in the box tonight.
Zachary Smith with a big checkup in the 1 truck in the back, about sideways in the bottom with Cody Atkins right on his tail.
Yeah, I think that's one of those games that you have to play in the restart zone. He waited until the last possible second before the green, because once you get out of the box or just there, your nose crosses that line, the green flag drops and that restart control, gets negated. So he waited till the last second, and with that happening, the other guy's trying to time your jump. Certainly stack that inside line up as we still go straight and narrow and forward as John Gallen there to the inside of Massey. I feel like this is the lowest we've seen Massey other than his starting position. He falls to kind of third, now back to second here.
Oh, we got Zach Smith.
We 3 wide. Zach Smith. Yeah, Zach Smith to the outside, stuck in the wall. And you were talking about how hard it is to get that truck off the wall. As some of these guys with these fresher tires, low air pressure, not built up to temp, certainly cause for a completely different handling truck as we see the 33 on the outside.
Oh, man.
And that's something we talked about, being able to ride that outside wall as tight as possible. And he certainly put it there as close as he could.
And he about got into his teammate there in 67 of Scott Martin.
We're going to split the 55 and 67. Looks like he backs out just a touch there to keep him from going 3 wide.
And this is exactly what we talked about, right? You got Brian Bogner on new tires, right? You got Dylan Chavez on new tires, Patrick Craven, Scott Martin, TJ Lane. These guys are making putting on a show right now. Getting up to Ray Massey, Josh Myers. Oh, what a crossover by Patrick Craven in front of his teammate, the 67 of Scott Martin. What
Goes
a
to the
race.
inside. The 57 of Alan Dice drifts up into John Gallen, able to control it there. Nobody getting loose there. TJ Lane going to benefit from it. Go to the inside, down on the apron to take over that spot from the 57 and the 14.
As we saw John Goen, who was up in second and third, now back to almost out of the top 10 with Chris Rood and Cody Atkins on his tail here, with Alan Dice making the pass and barely holding that top. John really wanted to get by and he's just going to push him into 3. We're on board with Patrick Craven here, coming up on Jeff Schmeier, trying to get into 3rd as he's going to make that pass with ease. With Scott
Something
Martin,
I just
TJ Lane right behind
I
him.
feel like something that just kind of happened in a blink of an eye. We got Bogner and Chavez back in the front here, pulling away, and you know the other 2 trucks of Schmeier and Massey, those 2 trucks did not pit last time around, so you see them falling as the other guys on fresh tires making their way forward, and TJ Lane looking to take over that 5th place position from Schmeier now, showing the dominance
Look at who we got
of the fresh tires.
In 14th, Corey Lavallo in the 01 after solo spinning into the infield, likely getting a pit road penalty, making his way back to 14th. He did not pit on that last caution, so that does give him a little bit more track position. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to hold his position here. One of our newer drivers in that 01 machine.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look at everybody around him right now, everybody on equal tires, you know, per se, being, you know, down lap 66. So the only guys up that that came down and got tires that are in front of him are currently the top 5 trucks. So right now, sitting in a good spot there after, again, his solo spin there. He's sitting 13th right now, and everybody else around him on the same schedule as far as tires go. But this top 5 certainly pulling away, sitting, I want to try to look real quick, about 2.5 seconds ahead of Jeff Schmeier, who is on the older tires there, with Ray Massey fighting right behind.
Now,
like you said,
one interesting note here, sorry, Jordan, before I lose my train of thought, because I'm not doing great here with the brain tonight. You got Thomas Myers and you got Jason Harrison, who both hit on lap 89 to get fresh tires, who aren't trying to run out front right now. They're running back in 20th and 17th, just trying to conserve on that top lane. It'll be interesting to see. And we got a caution. Oh, man, that changes everything.
Yeah, it looks like, the broadcaster's curse of the 01.
No. Corey,
as he loses that left front fender. And we were just talking about him being up there in the 13th position on the same equal tires, and now, I mean, that's going to be, hard to come by. I mean, they might have to run to the trailer, grab a fender, and slap it on there, but it won't be a perfectly brand new truck. As we'll take a peek to see what happened here to the 01 of Corey Lavallo. Is he riding?
Oh, Jacob, don't get into him.
Let's saw him kind of keep away from him.
No,
and
we did it again.
I feel like that wasn't entirely Link on that one. As you know,
that one felt like more of a racing deal than the last one, but still, that late side draft, sketchy. That is sketchy.
And I mean, when you go towards a corner, you expect someone to turn in the same way you do. As you see him pull the side draft, but then just as they go to the corner, Lavallo turns in and goes off the nose of the. Oh, it almost looked like the 07 of Myers may have gotten just a scrub there off the 01.
I do not envy Michael right now for this race control decision. Whether that was a racing deal or that would be a drive-through penalty under green for Jacob Link for the second cause of caution if we were to penalize him here. That'll be an interesting deal. I don't part of me thinks that's a racing deal. If I were in race control, that one looked a lot better than the last incident we had with Jacob Link, but that's a tough deal.
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to not be making the call there on what that is going to be considered. But an interesting thing to see here is the guys that I kind of thought would pit now didn't pit. You know, Jeff Schmeier and Ray Massey, I just kind of thought they would come down. But, I mean, they were able to carry speed still. And, you know, they were sitting, they're sitting 6th and 7th like they were under green. So they weren't falling a ton. So if they would have just pitted, you know, with these guys when they took their last set, they'd be right there with them still. So, I mean, they might just be kind of being patient, waiting it out, and seeing what happens with the race leaders and seeing if they can just kind of stick with them here as tightly as possible, maybe make a run for them when we make a final stop.
You definitely got to wonder, what's going through their heads on that strategy, right? We don't know how many tires all of these guys have left, right? They could have gotten tires before the stage break and didn't get them again on lap 66. So heck, some of these guys might have 2 sets left. We're not 100% sure. I have a feeling most of these guys only have 1, if any, with some of these guys that are running in the back now. But definitely going to be an interesting play, especially if you run green the rest of the way. As if we run green flag from here, you would have to save quite a bit of fuel to make it to lap 150, as we're sitting on lap 103 right now. That puts you at 47 laps to go when we hit the green flag, and only about 42 laps of fuel. That's pretty generous.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, just as these front trucks, the front 5, decide to make their stop, we would catch a caution, and that would put them right there on the tail of the leaders as we go back under green here. Dylan Chavez, the race leader.
Man, bad restart there. I believe that was row there. Patrick Wilkinson maybe on top, or I don't know if that was Jacob Link spinning the tires, but man, there was some bad. I think John Gowen got some pretty bad front bumper damage there, rear-ending the guy in front of him.
As Schmeier grabs the wall there off of turn 2, trying to run that high line, trying to, you know, when you have the older tires, you're trying to find a place to keep the momentum to maybe match the speed of the guys with the pressure tires. He's able to stay right there towards the back of TJ Elaine and just run that higher line. You know, if he can carry that speed and, you know, kind of equalize where his old tires and momentum match the new tires and, you know, lower entry of the front 5, he could stick right here onto these guys. We now have a cycle on these tires as well, so it can certainly be a different feeling truck for those top 5 as well. So it can change up a lot with that caution falling.
I know I mentioned him earlier, but Evan Jenks we saw on the wall up there in 35. He's representing the Wounded Warrior Project. He's from Central Michigan. Not sure how he got in the wall there and fell back, as he is on older tires, so he will be falling to the back. Last hit during that stage break, so he might be in fuel trouble here. I'm not quite sure why he didn't go in, unless that's a system glitch.
And I'm not sure who that is. If that was Wilkinson, maybe, that hopped back on track off the apron and almost took out Myers. A little terrifying of a moment. That's a grip the wheel and pray to the Almighty that you don't get collected there.
You gotta wonder if he's got some damage there in the rear end, because he was loose even in the tri-oval, and you don't see that kind of freeness on these trucks, especially with the newer tires that he's got. Just pitting on lap 90. As Zach Smith and Chris Rude putting on a good battle, getting by Kyle Bosch here, John Gowen. I still don't know if it's Gowen or Gowen. We're going to go with Gowen here, because he is going to the front. Oh, sorry.
But I love it. That's the beauty of being a broadcaster, is finding those goofy things to say. I keep wanting to call Kyle Bosch Kyle Busch. And
Brian, no!
Almost
in the air.
Down off the nose of TJ Elaine. That's certainly going to be a caution. There goes the caution flag.
Oh, no.
As that could have been a whole lot worse. And for some reason, thanks to it being the iRacing.com simulator, truck doesn't look too bad off, but certainly a wild ride for the 29 there.
We're going to ride on board here with Dylan. Or that was
See, this
TJ.
is gonna-
It was TJ. Oh, no.
It's going to be one of those 2 trucks, 1 spot. Not good idea. You see Bogner on that low line, going to wash up. Could have been just a bit of a plow. Not, and honestly, with how far down the track Bogner was versus how high up against the wall Elaine was at AI Spotter, you know, I feel like there's a tolerance of where it tells you that there's someone on the outside, and probably didn't get that call that he was on the outside until just as he got to the wall there.
So listening
Just
into the
unfortunate.
radio of TJ and Brian, it sounded like, yeah, like you said, Spotter might have said clear. TJ got a good run, wanted to just put on a show here on top. They worked it out. No hard feelings on that one, but man, just barely clipped him. Got airborne there, and barely everyone else was able to miss it. With Patrick Craven and Dylan Chavez, Alan Dice getting around him. I don't know if Brian used his fast repair early on. I don't think he was involved, so we might be all right. But you definitely lose a lot of track position, and I know for sure TJ Elaine is going to be hurt with that.
Yeah, that's going to be break out the hammer and go take some swings, and I mean nothing stops a Ram, and that certainly didn't stop TJ Elaine from going straight on through. But go on board here now with the 29 of Bogner. Just comes off the corner to get collected there off the nose of the 33, and you watch, there he goes sideways. Certainly, when you feel like your screen is oriented the wrong way, certainly not going to be a fun time. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Could have had a full blow over there, but
I don't know if we're able to ride on board with Scott Martin one more time on that one, just to see. He had one of the closest. I mean, I don't know if you saw Jordan on that, but when Brian was in the air, Scott Martin barely able to pull off. Oh no, and we are hearing on the voice chat that some of these guys are out of tires now. As we're riding on board here with Scott Martin, this will be a really interesting view heading into the backstretch. Run behind Patrick Craven and Dylan Chavez here is the last replay of this wreck.
He's got a good run here underneath Craven. Little close for comfort there, and then all of a sudden you just see, wow.
Oh man.
You just see a truck sideways in the air, and I mean, turn into Ricky Bobby and say he's flying through the air. This is not good.
That was incredible. Wow. Well, all I know for sure is that we got a couple guys back here that are out of tires. Patrick Wilkinson being one of them. I believe Stephen Ray out of tires. A lot of these guys pitting in here on lap 109 with Patrick Craven and Scott Martin, Alan Dice, Cody Atkins, Zachary Smith staying out, holding on to their last set of tires, hoping and praying for a caution to come out at the end to get them back in contention. As, I mean, if we get a caution, even a green, white, checkered, and these guys still have a set left, we'll be seeing a big push from the back.
Yeah, certainly going to be interesting as you have 2 of the fastest trucks in Ray Massey and Jeff Schmeier, and then 2 other trucks, one with a little bit of damage in TJ Elaine sitting there just behind these guys that have stayed out. Looks like Chris Rude, the guy that's out front furthest on maybe freshest tires. We're not sure if he took tires or not, but may have fuel to get to the end. As we get ready to go back, green flag racing, green flag in the air. 20 does not get a good jump there.
That start we've seen from the top by Scott Martin there with Cody Atkins right behind him. That's going to make it tough for Patrick here on the exit of turn 2 if they get a good enough run on the top.
I think that a little bit was maybe just a there's a wreck in the back there. As I'm not sure what he's scored as, but the 22. I want to say that's Charlie Childress. Jason, yeah, Charlie Childress, him in that.
I believe Brian Bogner might have gotten tagged there in the right front as well. Jason Harrison around against the wall. He used his fast repair already. Oh man, I don't know. I heard the screech. I don't know what happened. If there was something wrong. They went 3 wide and cross lanes early. We'll have to address that in our next driver's meeting. As you see Charles Childress and Evan Drake side by side, 3 wide with Jason Harrison running in the middle. As Evan gets really loose and overcorrects right into Jason. Oh, man. Is Brian gonna clip on? Oh, he was all right.
That 22 of Childress just, or I think it's Childress, the 22.
Yep.
Yeah. Him just nowhere to go, just kind of wrong place, wrong time, getting collected in that, as well as the 9 of Jason Harrison. Evan Jenks, I mean, that's one of those things, I'd assume it'll be hard to tell now because it says, you know, he's pitting now, so whenever he comes out, it'll say that's his last pit stop. But I'd assume he probably came down, got tires, and you know that cold pressure, you know, cold temps, low tire pressure, you know, go into that corner down on the bottom. You may touch the apron. He didn't touch the apron, but certainly. Maybe stepped out a little bit more than he was expecting. And you have that oh crap feeling and try to correct your wheel, and that's what has that snapping effect. It's just nowhere to go for the trucks on the outside.
So with that single file caution rule that iRacing has that we're implementing here, if the caution comes out within a lap of that restart, we will have single file restarts afterwards just to separate the field. We should have done that earlier in the beginning of the race, and once we got that implemented and the drivers spread out, we saw a much better green flag run going forward.
Well, we've seen it, you know, be a good restart. Is, you know, it settles everyone down, but I mean, it makes it a cleaner 1 and 2. But then we've seen a couple of guys able to kind of break away in a smaller pack the last time we did it, so. Going to be interesting here. Chavez still sitting right there in the 6th position as you know, he's been one of the faster trucks. Massey a little bit further back than that. Craven this last run was a really fast truck, so look for him to, you know, hang on for dear life as we're starting to wind down this thing, getting closer and closer to the end of this thing. As I see Bogner there on the apron, maybe just now coming out of pits. So yeah, you might have been right. He might have gotten a hold of, you know, someone might have gotten a hold of him there, and now him dropping back.
I know Patrick is craving a top spot here, but if Alan can roll his dice right, I think we're going to see a really, really awesome finish between these two.
See what you did there. I love it.
2 for 2.
I don't usually break, and that's saying something because I work with the great Dave Regal, the man who can come up with that man can pull anything out of his hat, and I get stunned and I don't know what to say, and I've gotten to the point where he doesn't break me, but to break me twice in one go is pretty daggone good. We're gonna see some daggone good restarts here. Is 20 out there, or the 20 and 57 a little bit further ahead of Scott Martin there.
I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know what that gap was about.
I think Martin's just not closing up, but those guys going to have a little bit of a quote-unquote head start. They didn't do anything to get that head start. Martin just off the back of the 57 at Dice there for the start of this thing. As this whole bunch up here is certainly immediately going from single file to 2 wide to possibly 3 if Wilkinson gets a little loose. Gonna go
Steven
pretty much.
And Bretton Barker, we haven't talked about him in a while here, as he's not on the lead lap, but still making a run for it, trying to hold on to his spot.
Gets stuck up into that fence there. It's TJ Lane, one of those guys. Some of these guys jumbled up a little bit here, just trying to fight their way back forward as we got 34 coming to 33 to go here in this race.
Unfortunately, it looks like Brian Bogner's day is done as he's on pit road, going 4 laps down after this run. That is an unfortunate ending to a really fast truck day.
Yeah, just the cards not being dealt in his favor here tonight. Certainly appreciate him coming out and hanging on for as long as possible. Taking a peek here, Scott Martin up 31 spots from the start of this thing. Cody Atkins sitting there in your P4 spot, up 23 spots. Alan Dice up 16 spots, sitting in your P2. 15 spots up is your race leader in Patrick Craven, and up 14 spots, sitting in 15th. Those are your top 5 movers of the race so far. Scott Martin putting in a little bit of a run here, trying to go for at least the podium here, trying to hold off Cody Atkins. Another big mover, up 23 spots.
What's
As
unfortunate?
we get tight there, too
Wow,
wide.
look at that.
Zachary Smith in the middle of Schmeier and Massey. As you look behind off the tail end of Martin, you see just a gaggle of trucks there.
There goes
Schmeier
Jeff
sideways.
Oh no!
Keeps it going forward, so going to stay green here.
Oh, they went 4 wide and they ran out of room. They lifted really bad, thinking of 1 and just tagged Jeff on the outside. I saw that coming in the trial.
I don't know how Jeff kept that thing straight, but certainly keeps it going forward as he drops to the tail end of this pack here in 12th position, just behind Chavez. We pop back up here to Kyle Busch-Bosch. As he's sitting there running in the 7th place position, just a spot forward from where he started this thing. So, I mean, whenever you run and you can at least put yourself in the even or plus column, got to feel good about that, as Massey has found his way back up into the top 3 here, getting past Martin. And going to start hunting there for the front, as he is on 20 lap fresher tires, I believe, than the race leader of Patrick Craven. And just about 8 laps fresher than the 57 of Alan Dice right there in front of him. He goes down to the inside, going to make that pass and set sights on the older tired truck of Patrick Craven. Craven is just running as far away as he possibly can right now. And I mean, it's going to happen. He's going to get run down by Massey. It's up to Link and Bosch here to stick with that 23 to give a fight there. Is Elaine going to go to the inside of the 57 as well?
I will say Kyle Bosch running in 4th here. That is an underdog surprise for me. I have not raced with him much, and he did have an unfortunate practice race on Saturday. Had some pit road issues. If you told me he was going to be running top 5 here with 28 to go, I wouldn't have thought you were crazy, but I wouldn't have believed you. He is running really, really well here. Good for him.
Well, for all of that, it is the season of the madness of March. We just saw the brackets get set up. I'm certainly going to be making my picks tonight. Maybe this is the Cinderella story of the race. The number 16, quote unquote, the 16th seed, going to maybe find his way up there and pull the upset. As Link gets around Massey, which Massey hasn't really been passed a ton except for when he was on older tires than everybody else. But I mean, Link looking to get back to the front here, and they're going to possibly look to go over Craven. But now the yellow flag comes out.
This will turn around Patrick Craven's race immensely, running on old tires, and almost everybody behind him running on the last set. As we see the 2-car Tyler Ziegler around in that pink 2 truck. I'm not sure what happened.
SP Evan Jenks also went into pit road here, so we'll see what happens as the 2 and Jenks are side by side. Wilkinson down there. Is that? Yeah, it's Wilkinson down there on the outs or inside.
Oh no! No!
And it's almost identical to what we saw happen to TJ Lane and Brian Bogner, where you just have less than a fender, less than a bumper. I mean, maybe just like an inch to the in or to the outside of the truck coming off corner, and it just leads to the nose into the wall. As you see Patrick Craven going to come down, get his stop. Alan Dice, Martin Smith going to come down with him. So those 4 trucks coming in.
And it'll be interesting to see, because I don't know for sure. A lot of these guys said they pit on lap 109. We don't know if they took tires. And so you have a couple guys we know for sure, Patrick Craven and his teammate Scott Martin will be taking tires here. They will have a major, almost a 20-lap advantage over these front-running, probably 10-15 trucks. But you got guys like Zachary Smith, Adam Thompson, Alan Dice, Jason Harrison. They might have a set of tires left, and they could pull it out of their back pocket, and we run green the rest of the way. We could see, like you said, a Cinderella story here at Kansas in March.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at this, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. But right now, under the race control tab, Jacob Link being shown the black flag on our end. I don't know if that's just a mess up in the live timing right now, or if there's something pending for the 74. That would be rather huge if he's got something.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. That could be an old flag that wasn't cleared, I would assume.
Could be. But I just happen to see the race leader with a little black box next to it. You start to wonder a little bit.
Let's give our race control a quick little message, see what we're dealing with here.
Get a little buzz. I mean, certainly right now, if we look at who just came down, it looks like first car off pit road would be the 13th position of Alan Dice. So with just I say a handful, but we've got about 20. I'm terrible at math when I don't see the number in front of me. He came down with 25 laps to go. Probably ran a lap or two of caution, so 24, 23 laps to go. And
there
13th.
We go. All right. So we were able to add. We did have a glitch where it was going to run single file restarts. We were able to change that to double file here. So we might add a caution lap if we need to, if they don't get arranged here. But we're going to have a heck of a restart here, double file. Hopefully they run it clean where we don't need a single file start and we can run this thing green to the end. It's been a heck of a race. I think we're in for a really, really fun finish here with some of our fastest guys outside of the top 10 right now.
Yeah, it looks like we might still have a single file restart here this time around. Looks like a pace car is about to make a dive. Yep, pace car makes the dive.
Didn't get it in time. That's all right.
Link gonna have the control over the restart here and gonna fire off here rather gingerly compared to what we've seen. But as I was saying, our 13th place car, our truck, gonna be the first guy on fresh tires. The thing is, can he make up 12 spots in 23 laps? I mean, it's a lot of time, but that time's certainly going to wind down rather quickly on him. Is Link going to kind of snake down the backstretch, trying to cut off any kind of air, draft that the 23 could pull, as that 23's been fast all night. Another one that's been fast is the 33 of Elaine, and, just Schmeier here trying to find his way back forward.
Black flags were cleared just now from Jacob Link and Evan Jenks. Not sure what those were, but those black flags have been taken away. They're side by side for the lead here. We'll see and we got another caution here in the back of the pack.
No.
Man.
Oh.
Showing the 67 here of Scott Martin. Mitchell Dolan coming in on the comms. Not sure if he had an issue. Oh, man.
Taking a peek here at Mitchell Dolan. See Alan Dice way down on the bottom of the apron. It looks like, I'm not sure exactly who that is. Gonna drift up a little close.
That's Brian Bogner there in the middle. He came out of pit road to get some.
Oh, and Bogner gonna get it again and almost go over for the second time tonight.
Oh, man.
So just unfortunate for Bogner there. I thought that was Bogner's truck, but I could not tell, and I thought for sure he had been done for the night, but
and he is now. Oh, man. And that's so tough because you're running that top lane, right? And you start getting tight. You no longer focus on the wall. You're focused on the guys around you. Are the guys going to lift up into you? Are you by yourself? Are you three wide? Where you come out of the exit, you could have a whole lane above you of room. As we saw in that case, Mitchell Dolan did have space above him to hold that line. Just worked his way down, unfortunately, into Brian Bogner and ended his night for good, as Bogner was already 4 laps down. Tough end of the night for him, man. It's hard when you wait a month for these kind of events. As you can see in the bottom there, 11 cautions tonight with 32 laps of cautions, more than we've seen in our race history here thus far. So hopefully put this one in our back pocket and get set for the Great Lakes Sim 240 at Michigan here in April.
Yeah, I mean, It's unfortunate, and we hope that he doesn't get mad at the series, and comes back. It's certainly a top tier racer here. Led 16 laps tonight. Was up front, was able to fight. Our lap leader being Ray Massey so far, sitting in that second place position. 32 laps led here tonight. Jacob Link going to get another one once we cross the start-finish line. He's led 20 laps here. And I think that this caution, significantly helps those that did not, get to pit that last time around, that, came down around lap 109. You're kind of taking away time that, Alan Dice or Patrick Craven, Zachary Smith, those guys, you're taking away time that they had to run you down. You're shortening how far they have to go. And you can only make up so much time, no matter how much better your tires are. That sounds like terrible grammar. How much better? Much more gooder. No matter how much tire you have left compared to those in front of you, once you get some laps knocked off, it's really hard to make up that much time, that many spots in a shorter span. So those guys drastically have their chances altered here, but certainly not out of it, as they're sitting around 13th and 14th, 15th right now. Those four trucks just down on lap 125.
And they're not going to have an easy time getting to the front. We're going to have some picks set. We got a bunch of different teammates that are racing together up here in the front with teammates in the back. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some collusion happening to figure out how to get the most amount of teammates up to the front while preserving their tires. So we'll see. We got Chris Rude and Ray Massey, teammates up here in the front, while TJ Elaine running up here representing his team with Patrick Craven and Scott Martin in the back.
Yeah, the pace car getting ready to hand control back to Jacob Link. Got to watch for that tire spin. We've seen it a couple times tonight where tire spin causes havoc behind him as he gets ready to fire off here. Going to wait, and now goes. So a little bit later in the box as well, as we see a stack up on that outside line. Chris Rude falling behind off the tail end of Ray Massey, as TJ Elaine real tight in between the 16 of Bosch and the 22 of Schmeier.
Go get it, Bosch. Boy. Oh no!
TJ goes to the inside of Bosch. They keep it straight, and again, some great saves from some of these guys.
Dutton broadcast curse is real.
It fully is. As Massey now puts him in the second place spot. 3 wide.
Stephen Ray around.
Four goes sideways. Into the 7 and the 82 of Wilkerson. And now it was not the 7, it was the 1 of Zachary Smith. Similar color scheme slightly, but Wilkinson, Smith getting collected there with Stephen Ray.
Man.
And I felt like that turn felt like a mile long. As they're just 3 wide here now. The 7 starts to drift up. The 4 with nowhere to really go there off corner. And those 3 just 3 wide, too tight together, and the 7 kind of gets a little bit of a tap to the 4, which sends him up into the 1 and the 82. As that again is going to, put us under caution for the 12th time here tonight. You see right off the roof here of the 1. He's just going to go to that high line. As he sees them start to spin, he thinks he can make it through, and then you just end up with a car on your roof cam.
Really, really rough from a clean racing standpoint here. This is like ripping the Band-Aid off after the last 2. But obviously a hard wreck there for Stephen Ray, for Zachary Smith behind him. And then obviously Jax Matthews, who unfortunately was not able to hold the bottom there in the front stretch. I'll tell you one group I think who's happy with that caution are these front runners, these front 8. They want as few green flag laps as they can to really hold this spot as they got a lot of fast guys behind them. Jacob Link really getting a good launch on the restart there earlier. Kyle Bosch making a good run with TJ right before they got into each other. We'll see if they're able to keep it green and see if the Massey machine's able to get past Jacob Link to get his second win in a row at the Charity Cup Series.
Yeah, I mean, you're really starting to cut away that time that those guys on those fresh tires like Alan Dice and Martin and Craven, those guys are really cutting out that time that they have to run down. I mean, we're on lap 135, coming to 136. You're giving them about almost just over a lap, or a car a lap at this point now, to get there to the front. I mean, Alan Dice has moved up just 3 positions from that last pit stop, so he's not really moved forward. We haven't been able to stay green long enough for him to make use of those fresh tires. And now that we've run a couple tires that have had a cycle or two, you get the heat built up just a touch, and they cool back down. Then you get the heat back up in them, and then you cool them back down. You're putting stress and wear on those Goodyear Eagle rubber, and it's going to drastically change how good those tires actually are.
As we're coming here with 1 to go here before we go green, not sure the strategy here with Jacob running so far down low. Not sure if it's a fuel saving thing, trying to just keep his tires low on temp. We'll see him peel back in here to P1 in the restart zone. Alan Dice making his way up there, sitting in the 5th row on top at 9th. We'll see him making a good run here with the guys behind him. Jax Matthews sitting in, Alan Dice in 10th, Jax Matthews sitting in 9th.
Yeah, I think a big thing, if Alan can run that high line really tight, the Larson line, I mean, he's a Larson fan, so, I mean, he should be able to mimic his favorite driver. But if he can run that high line as tight as possible, carry that momentum and fly off these corners, he should be able to make up a ton of time and spots on these guys, especially with this being restart. Is Jacob Link going to have control? That outside line has been kind of rough to start here as they get going a little cleaner than we've seen most of the night here as Link gets fired off and away. We'll see if Massey can make his run, but right to the inside, his other opposition that's been fighting him all night is Jeff Schmeier. So those two side by side for the dozenth time tonight. As TJ Elaine still peaking there in the 4th place position.
We're really not seeing that speed right now from those guys in the back, but these guys up front, they've got their tires set. They're still cruising, so we'll see how that plays out. But
yeah, coming to 12 to go here.
Side by side for the lead. Ray Massey at the bottom underneath Jacob Link. We'll see if that can get Jeff Schmeier a little bit closer with Jacob lifting up in the corner. Going to get Ray Massey a clear top lane on exit. We'll see if Jacob makes the crossover and he fakes it out, holds the top. Still not able to get past as Ray Massey has the lead and is pulling away fast.
Yeah, and with the time that is left, I mean, for what he's showing, he is a dominant truck, and Jeff Schmeier has been really the only opposition that's been able to put him in the same zip code. But Massey, once again, showing the speed that he has here, and kind of pulling this train along as Dice has now moved up into the 7th spot. But time quickly running out as I almost wonder if he thought about right there splitting those two. If he had just, he might do it. Nope, not going to have the speed, but going to maybe grab a spot from Chavez and the 33 here on the outside.
TJ really using the entire track, up riding the wall and exit all the way down to the bottom in the apron as he's going to try and get by Jeff Schmeier with his teammate Dylan Chavez beneath. Wow, that was way too close.
Yeah, Massey trying to cut off that toe that the 74 of Link was looking for, but Link follows him down to that inside line. Is Massey able to put a little bit of time between the two? 10, now 9 to go here.
Can Kyle Bosch hold on to the top 5? Oh man, I hope so.
Certainly has a fight on his hands as that 57 revved up just on a half lane above him. Going to have a big run, but nowhere to use it as he's boxed in behind the 16 and inside of the 6. As that's best case scenario for the podium drivers right now, is that 57 kind of being boxed in here, going to be 8 to go here at the line. And Dice going to need to be able to maybe throw a wild 3 wide and force his way forward, as he's kind of just stuck here behind those two as they're side by side right behind TJ Lane. See Massey go down to the inside again to cut that toe. Does not want Link to have any kind of draw towards him. It doesn't seem to be scrubbing off speed bad enough that it, is a negative. So
Here on 7 to go with Ray Massey out front. Got almost 0.2 of a second on Jacob Link, with Dylan and TJ really working together to keep that 57 of Alan Dice tucked away in 6th. Kyle Bosch falling back to 7th.
Dice able to get around Bosch. Now looking to the inside of the 6 and the 33 of Chavez and TJ Elaine. Might have a run at the 33 off corner as Bosch gets a little loose. Going to clear the 6 here. Coming to 6 to go. Running out of time. Link making up time a little bit there to the 23. As now Adkins single file with the 33 again. I think it's just those cautions going to cost Adkins the run for, Dice, my apologies, Dice the run for the win, but certainly not settled in that front row as the 22 and the 74 side by side off of turns 3 and 4 as Dice makes a move into 4th.
The only chance Jacob has here is if he can get Jeff Schmeier to work with him, and I don't think Jeff is even considering that option, as he's got Alan Dice running in 4th. We'll see who Alan decides to go with.
Yeah, the more of these two fight side by side, the better it looks out the front window of Ray Massey, as he's separated himself by 0.2 of a second. Dice going to look to the inside of Link now, trying to get at that 3rd place position away from Link. Going to be just 4 laps to go. A hard charging 57, and Jeff Schmeier and Link just trying to hold position here, as TJ Lane has added his nose back into the topic of conversation here. And the more that Dice has to fight side by side, the better for Massey out front. But now Dice going to take the 3rd spot, going to run a higher line right there behind Jeff Schmeier. TJ Lane going to start pressuring him now. If you can't tell, I'm a little amped up here with how this is running out here with 3 laps to go from Kansas. The J&S 150. Had to take a drink. I was starting to get out of breath.
Alan Dice working at Jacob Link is just losing that right front so fast.
Oh!
Twice now. Really,
2 cars down to the apron. As we stay
really
green.
Patrick Craven and Dylan Chavez are going to get by. Jacob Link falling back to 7th now. And
the last thing that Massey wants to see is a yellow, as Dice now goes to the inside of Schmeier, sets his sights on Massey with just about 1 lap and 3/4 to go here from Kansas, as now Alan Dice solidifies himself in the 2nd place position, now sets his sights right there on the back end of the 23, coming to just 1 lap to go here as they work off turns 3 and 4. Massey with about a 0.3 of a second lead over the 57. Can he make up the time? White flag in the air one more time around Kansas as Dice makes the run down into turn 1 and 2. Not making up a ton of time. Starting to move forward. Does he have it? Down the backstretch, TJ Lane not going to be a factor to this top 2. Dice going to dive in just 0.1 of a second off, but not gonna be enough. Massey gonna come off turn 3 and 4, make a hard charge for the finish down to the apron. Massey gonna go back to back in the Charity Cup Series here.
Unbelievable. Dude dominates Texas, and the strategy pays off for a 1st place finish and a back-to-back win here at Kansas in a caution and wreck-filled race. He was able to preserve. CT Jeff Schmeier paying his respect to Ray Massey for an amazing drive. Those are 2 very talented, very wise guys right there that they know what they're doing. I'm excited to see this burnout here from Ray Massey. As you see our podium right there with Ray Massey finishing in first, Alan Dice with the comeback on clean tires in second, and TJ Elaine running P3 for that finish.
Yeah, I mean, what a run there for Massey. I mean, a stronger both or all three. I keep saying both. All three races this year, but Dice just needed maybe a lap and a half more, and he could have been taking his first victory of the Charity Cup Series. But Ray Massey able to hang on and take his second back-to-back victory here, and that man's going to be certainly amped up as as he gets his second win.
As we're going through the awards here to figure out our hard charger, our cleanest driver, and obviously our top three, we are going to go to interviews. We are going to start with our race winner, Ray Massey. If we want to pull him into the broadcast booth from his channel, I'm going to try and queue up our cleanest driver here as well. As we're looking at,
Excuse me.
Alan Dice with no incident points in that entire race. Unbelievable.
And I believe now Ray Massey is in the booth with us here. Ray Massey, you got a copy there?
Got a copy.
Hey, man, what an absolute run again for a back-to-back win here. I mean, dude, you've got to be excited and just, I mean, you also got to have a heart rate of probably 170 at this point with Alan Dice breathing down your neck, too.
Yeah, that was a lot of drama. Those last few laps were crazy. That was, different tire strategies, fuel strategies, the cautions falling when they did, and trying to figure out when to pit if, that last set of tires, you wanted to be smart with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of assume what the answer is, but I mean, those last couple of cautions that we had there, I mean, do you think that was your saving grace there from Alan Dice?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm more of a long run kind of driver. I'm better as the tires wear on. So I actually wanted more green flag, but when you say that, Alan, if he had more green flag, would have probably rained me down quicker. So yeah, hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely a phenomenal run, and I believe Curtis might have some things to say. You got anything, Kurt?
Yeah, I just want to know how. I mean, you run the most dominant run I've seen at Texas, and then you come over here to a completely different track, avoid all 12 cautions, or at least stay at the front in the end of it. Just tell us what was different. What was different between the two races, and what makes this one special for you?
This one actually got a little bit of damage, I think. At least I got a 4X incident point when the guys wrecked up above on one of the restarts, and I didn't feel any damage to the truck, and it kept moving on. This one was interesting because there's a lot of throttle time here. Texas, turn 1 and 2 is pretty flat, so you're on the brakes. Here you just don't use brake, so managing the tires and not putting too much wheel into it and scrub too much tire made a big difference, especially off turn 2. That was a trouble spot. You had to take it easy there. Be careful. Dirty air was big. I tried to, me and the 22 Jeff, we had a lot of fun battling earlier in the race, and I would go high and he would go low, trying to get clean air. That was a lot of fun battling him. Had a good time.
Absolutely. Well, Ray, anyone you want to thank here before we move on to second place?
Yeah, I'll shout out Walking and Rolling Costumes. That's the whole reason we're here. Me and Chris Rood, he had a good run tonight, my teammate. We were talking strategy and stuff along the way, so we are thrilled to death to raise money for that group. They do a lot of good for children in wheelchairs that they can participate in special events and Halloween things that the family gets a custom-made costume free of charge. So those guys there do a lot of great work, so we're happy to support them. And thank you, Curtis, and the other admins do a great job with this league. Appreciate the sponsors that come on board to help, and all the guys that show up. Does nothing but make it better for everyone. So shout out to everyone here. Great job.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. It's fun to have you. We're excited to see what you and Chris have in store here for hopefully for the race here in April at Michigan for the Great Lakes Sim 240. and potentially an all-star race that we're going to be putting on in May that we will definitely need you around for. So, Ray, appreciate it. Thanks for
That's
being
awesome.
here. We're going to move
Yeah.
on to our second place finisher, Alan Dice. We'll see you later, Ray. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Jordan, if you want to pull in, or Mike, you want to pull in Mr. Alan Dice here to the booth for our second place interview. Alan, this is Curtis up in the booth. You got me?
I do. Hey, Curtis. Sorry, I didn't leave my car on track. I didn't know.
Hey, we're good. We're good, dude. What a run. We were talking about you almost all night. One, I think the switching to charity over and getting that scheme made with that blue and purple, that stuck out really, really nice. So it was fun to follow your truck all night, and you got those fresh tires there after that late caution. Tell us kind of what was going through your mind during those last couple restarts and how you ended up getting up to P2.
So I saved a set late and waited and took my tire. I think it was 126. I had the freshest tires, I think, toward the front. But I was really stressing coming up through those last couple of restarts because the guys in front of me were 3 wide. I was like, I don't really want to go 4. I really don't even want to be 3. I think I did do it once, but yeah, it was really just trying to get through the traffic. So I had to kind of be patient after a couple laps. Like, I'm just gonna have to wait, even though we're winding down, and just start getting them once they figure things out in front of me. Unfortunately, that made it where I was 1 position short. I think 1 more lap and I could have taken the lead, but it is what it is. I'm pretty happy with P2.
So tell us about why you chose Shirley's Angels for your charity, and just kind of what they do, and anyone you want to thank here for the race and the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Shirley's Angels is a local charity to me. They're in the Winchester, Virginia area, and they help pets that are going through things or giving up. They also go and get pets out of kill shelters and help them find new homes, find good homes for pets that may not have had that. So it's pretty cool to help a local charity. I think that the charity I had on prior is national, and while it's good to help them as well, I think it's really cool to be able to help a smaller charity that, this donation tonight, this $128, is actually going to make a significant difference to them. They might not see that a whole lot. So really happy I can help them out.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, $128 going to Shirley's Angels for that P2. If you didn't make this clear in the beginning, Ray Massey getting $192 to Walking and Rolling Costumes. Just a really neat opportunity. You guys are running well, and we get to just see kind of skill here at the end, and it's competition mixed with philanthropy and the charitable giving, and it's cool to see you guys a part of this, and at the end of the day have a lot of other people benefit more than just ourselves. So thanks for running
really
well
appreciate
today,
you
Alan.
putting that on.
Absolutely. We're going to move on to our third place interview. Alan,
I got one thing to say if he's still here.
Yeah, go for it, Jordan.
Alan, you still got us?
I still do.
Hey, it's pretty typical of a musician just to, once the job's done, to just, head on out, right?
That's true. Very true. Typical of a bass player to finish second.
Right. I had to, buddy. But again, thanks for running you guys all from below the double yellow, popping in here and running this means a lot to me, especially Curtis as well. So I want to thank you for your guys' participation in this.
One of these days, I'll get Ray on one. One of these days.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it, Brock.
All right. Well, we're going to get our third place finisher, TJ Elaine, in here. TJ with a third place finish running with Great Lakes Sim. TJ, this is Curtis up in the booth. You got me?
I do. How are you?
Dude, we're doing well. That was not the race I expected.
No.
Obviously, a lot more cautions than the practice races we had at the beginning. Just kind of walk me through how the race went for you. I know you were caught up in a couple chaotic moments there with Bogner early. How'd you end up finishing third, man?
Well, by the seat of my pants and white knuckling it, because we won the 75 lapper last weekend when George was in with us, and we had such a good time. We expected to have speed. We always run good here, and I tried to throw pit strategy right off the get-go. We only had 3 sets of tires on pit road, and I wanted to make sure that I had a set of tires at the very end for caution, which there was there, and Patrick and Scott were able to take advantage of that and get a solid 5th and 10th. It was tough because on that green flag pit stop, I elected to not take tires. And then a caution came out like 25 laps into that run or whatever, and everybody came down pit road, and I stayed out and because I didn't want to burn those tires that I was saving. And I jumped back up on the track, and then realized that I was going to have to pit within like 20 laps, and I'm going to end up going a lap down. So I kind of kind of messed it up, got behind the 8 ball, but we had a, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Scott and Patrick and I were coming in a quick hurry about, I'm not exactly sure if it was by 100 laps to go, but we had changed tires because most everybody only had one set of tires, and we still had 2, and we changed tires and came screaming through that field. That was so much fun, but it's kind of like one of those things where you just don't give up, and no matter what happens, if you don't give up and you just keep rolling with it, sometimes it ends up working out in your favor, and it worked out today. I wish we would have saved my tires a little later than what I did, because then I would have been able to challenge Rhea and Alan there. But congratulations to those 2 guys and the rest of the guys in here that finished in the top 5.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, TJ, anybody you want to thank or shout out your charity at all of just being able to put this race together today?
Yeah, so I want to shout out all the guys at Great Lakes Sim, Scott, Martin, Pete Pellini. He was supposed to be here tonight, but went through a round of chemo treatments. Patrick, who finished top 5, he's super pumped. Got some money going towards his charity. I want to thank Tim, all the guys over at the Charity Cup Series for putting this stuff on. You've messaged so many people to get guys involved in this stuff, and it's fantastic. And tonight was a little bit hectic, but I'm sure we'll all be talking over the next month, right, leading up to the Great Lakes 240 at Michigan International Speedway on April 12th. We'll have a better idea of kind of how things will roll, and come Michigan, everything will be super great. I want to do few more shout outs to my family that was watching, all the guys that were watching, and SRM for doing the broadcast. I'm sure they had fun up there in the booth.
Oh yeah, we did. Well, TJ, I appreciate you being here. You brought a bunch of good drivers with you. We're excited to hopefully keep you on board as a partner this season. Run a really awesome race at Michigan in April, and we cleaned some of the driving up a little bit. We had the biggest field we've had all year, and I think we're due for a really, really solid year of racing. So TJ, thanks for being with us. Great job in the top 3, and we'll talk later. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, boss. We are going to bring in one more. We do have 2 awards to go over. We can just put it on screen here. The Hard Charger Award. We did not grant this to any of the top 5 drivers. And so our Great Lakes Sim Hard Charger did go to Jax Matthews in the 7. He is not with us for an interview at the moment. But the other award we did want to hand out was that Langer's Auto Spa Cleanest Driver. And that while we did have Alan Dice putting up a 0 incident point top 3, we do want to honor the drivers outside of the top 5, and that would be Dylan. We're going to ask him how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Chavis. We're going to find out. Let's bring him in the booth here, and we'll talk about the race with him here to close out the broadcast. Well, Dylan, this is Curtis up in the Sim Racing Media booth. You got me?
Oh, I guess he pulled himself back out.
He might not be quite ready yet. Well, we can push that to another date. We'll get some feedback from him. He is muted at the moment, so he might be dealing with some things at the moment. But I do want to thank some of our sponsors for jumping on board. You saw them all in the slideshow. We didn't get a chance during the victory lap to shout out Vibrance Media and Phil Ransom and his generosity. Be sure to check out Vibrance Media and the Vibrance community online. Also, the Hearts Elderberry, the stage winner, Jordan, I don't even know if I caught the stage winner because it was so hectic there. We might have to post that online of who had the lead at lap 65.
It should have been, if my memory, which is somewhat good sometimes, should have been Ray Massey, I believe, because him and Jeff Schmeier were running away out there.
Shocker. So, thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to Johnson & Sons for sponsoring really the season from the get-go, and all of our other partners who have jumped on board and their generosity. Been a huge opportunity just to continue to push this forward, to boost our payouts a little bit to those charities. And overall, just a really, really solid event, and couldn't do it without you guys.
Absolutely. I'm going to go over the race results here. And Mike warned me that we had some updates, and I was not ready for these updates because holy cow, as Ray Massey coming away with the race win for the
second time this this year back-to-back winner. Alan Dice going to be in our P2 spot with TJ Aline in that final podium spot. Jeff Schmeier and Patrick Craven going to round out your top 5 with Corey Lavallo, who, you know, we had said had that penalty going down pit road and getting spun out there, bounces back to a 6th place. Dylan Chavez able to get back up to 7th. Kyle Bosch able to hang on there at the end for P8 with Stephen Ray and Scott Martin going to round out our top 10 here, as Jacob Link and Cody Atkins going to be 11th and 12th, with John Gowan and Jax Matthews in 14th or 13th and 14th, with Chris Rude rounding out the top 15. Tim Ruark going to be in 16th with Jason Harrison in 17th. Patrick Wilkinson going to come in 18th with Charles Childress in 19th and Adam Thompson in that 20th position. As 21st going to be Jacob Link. Brenton Barker going to be in the P22 with Mitchell Dahlin and Brian Bogner in 23rd and 24th. Evan Jenks going to round out our top 25 with Tyler Ziegler in 26th, Thomas Myers in 27th, Chad Abernathy in 28th, Darnell Cibola going to be in 29th, and Joseph Sherry going to round out the top 30, with Austin Travis coming 31st, Kyler Hartley coming in 32nd, Jeff Miller in 33rd, as my
those bottom three
screen
did not
messes
race.
up. And then those bottom 3 did not run. Look at you, Curtis. Didn't do anything and finished in 34th out of 36.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I gained 2 spots.
So, I mean, again, wonderful run. You see here also, I want to point out Ray Massey with most laps led at 48. And then Tim Rurik, fastest lap at a 30:63.9.
And just to point out, too, the hard charger there, for those wondering, all 5 people that are probably in the broadcast still, Scott Martin did not qualify for the hard charger because he did not actually qualify for the race. And so the criteria for that hard charger was you had to put up a qualifying lap. That's why Jax Matthews did get that ticket. However, kudos to Scott Martin for gaining 24 spots on that run and getting out that top 10.
Yeah, and I mean, all in all, I mean, with the cautions there and everything, it was an absolute amazing race, especially there at the end with the drama of Dice running down Massey. So overall, it was a phenomenal race to run, or to call and be a part of, and I absolutely love having you up here in the broadcast booth, Curtis.
It was a ton of fun, man. I enjoyed this one. That was some of the most exciting sim racing I've seen there in those last 10 laps, with just the anticipation of the clean tire, the new tires in the back, and that was a really awesome finish for what was a pretty rough first third of the race there.
Absolutely, and I'm trying to pull up real quick because my phone is a little slow. If you have the next month's schedule, I had it right here ready to go, and then my phone clicked off of.
Yep, so we're going to be, as TJ pointed out during the interview, April 12th, Sunday night, April 12th, same time, we're going to be running the Great Lakes Sim 240 at Michigan International Speedway. That is going to be a fast track. I think we're going to see a lot of really, really fast draft racing in those first few laps after the start. So we're looking forward to that one. Got a month of kind of regroup here to get some more sponsors on board, kind of figure out what drivers are going to stay with us, and go from there. But overall, yeah, really solid night here, and we are looking forward to Michigan in April.
Absolutely looking forward to Michigan, and we say goodbye to Kansas as we get ready to wrap this up, but cannot leave without saying, as you walk the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night.